Welcome, everyone. Welcome back to Collective Conversations, a sacred space where we come together to share stories of healing, spiritual growth, and the divine connections that guide us along life's journey. So, today's conversation is incredibly close to my heart. My guest is someone who has been a meaningful part of my own healing path. She is a gifted Reiki master, an oracle, and a compassionate guide who has dedicated her work to helping others reconnect with their inner wisdom and the loving support that exists beyond what we can physically see. So, Carol Ruffin, my Reiki master. Thank you so much for being here with me, Carol.
You're welcome.
Before we
Thank
get
you for having
started,
me.
oh, thank you. I'd love for you to just introduce yourself to everyone, and I'll let you have it.
Okay. Hi, everyone. My name is Carol Ruffin. I am a Reiki master, um, also an oracle. A little nervous with saying that, but we have to let it be what it is. And I make natural products as well. And I am also a Yoni Steam practitioner. Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for being here, Carol.
Oh, you're
Um,
welcome.
so, as you know, I know I was speaking to you a little bit earlier about the podcast, and for those who are continuously watching, this year has been dedicated to all of the beautiful people and the beautiful souls I've come along in my healing journey that has really made huge impacts in my life. And I want to give you your flowers today. So,
Thank you.
Carol, I believe we met a few years ago,
Mm-hmm.
and we did I believe it was the Sexual Abuse Healing Summit together that we
Yes.
did, and we met there. And from there, we just kind of stayed aligned and journeyed a little bit. And I remember reaching out to you, asking you about Reiki and things that were happening with my body that I was not sure what was going on with my hands and the energy that I was feeling. And
Mm-hmm.
you took me underneath your wing and you became my Reiki master and you certified me as a Reiki practitioner. So I'm grateful for you. Thank
Oh,
you so very much.
oh, you're welcome.
Um, oh, thank
Um,
you. Were you going to say something? I don't want to
I
cut
was
you
just gonna
off.
say it's just a beautiful thing to see someone
Oh,
who has the gift of healing. With me, sometimes I can just see people now, like just spot on and see. And then when you begin to tell me about the energy that you were feeling, I said, "Oh yes, definitely energy work, definitely Reiki, yes, yeah."
aw, thank you. And thank you for you know, um, even acknowledging me and giving me that chance to be able to experience it, because I truly didn't know what was going on. And I trusted you, and I felt like I'm gonna reach out to Carol and see what she says, you know. So
Yeah.
thank you. I appreciate you so much. And you've also helped me in so many other ways. Um, tender moments of me in my grief journey, where you've given me beautiful messages from my mom. Many of you that don't know, my mom has transitioned. And Carol has delivered some really, really beautiful messages to me, and so I'm just forever grateful for you. That was such a hard time for me, and um, you were there for me. You were in my corner, and you were there for me, and I really do appreciate you. And I want you to know how grateful I am for you for that. That was very special for me, truly.
Oh, you're
Oh,
welcome, and I'm grateful for
mhm,
you for trusting me with that because that's a very delicate place to be. Is
mhm,
trusting somebody with your feelings and with your loved ones who have passed on, because you have so many people who are out here who are scamming people, and I'm just grateful that you trusted me with that. You know,
mhm. Oh
um,
yeah.
yeah, I'm grateful
Definitely.
for that. Yeah.
And you know, you're right. You touched on something very important. There are a lot of fraudulent things going on right now, especially right now. I feel like the spirituality talk is so broad now. People really don't know who to trust and who to really speak to and things like that. But I know in my heart the messages that you delivered to me were 100% real.
Hmm.
Things that you said to me, no one could have just made that up. So I'm grateful for you, and I'm here to say you are the real deal, um, for sure. Yes.
Oh,
Um,
yeah.
so let's just dive right in. Let's have a great conversation today. I'll start
Okay.
off with a question just so we can get conversation going, and
Okay.
we'll kind of go from there. Okay.
All
Of
right.
course, I have notes. I
Okay.
like notes, and then I know this is an emotional episode for me. So I want to make sure I'm focused here with the notes. So let's just
Okay.
start off talking about Reiki, right?
Okay.
Because for a lot of people who don't know what Reiki is or have never experienced Reiki, let's see. I'd like to ask first, what first led you to the path of Reiki and intuitive guidance?
Um, it's kind of funny. I've always made a joke of that I have. I say I have healing hands. I have healing hands. I've always said that. And I met a lady. Her name is Susan Reynolds, and when I met her, that was a turning point in my spiritual growth, my spiritual journey, because I was so confused and didn't know which way to go. I had all these things going on. I didn't know. I was really just spinning in a spiral. But when I met her, it gave me a different perspective, a different way to look at things. And during one of her sessions, she does kinesiology. Um, but during one of her sessions, I was in her office and I saw all the little certificates she had, and one of them was Reiki. And I said, "What is Reiki?" And she explained it to me, and I said, "Wow." I said, "I think that's for me." Just like that, we both kind of laughed it off a little bit, and then after that,
Mhm.
Reiki was showing up everywhere. One of the things is that I had a book that I was reading, and I didn't realize I didn't even know how to pronounce the word.
Hmm.
Are you
What
there?
happened? I am.
Okay, I don't know what happened.
Something popped in. I'm sorry.
It's okay. But I didn't even know how to pronounce it, but I was doing the sessions on myself without even being certified. I didn't know. And I was just
Wow.
just doing it. But it came up for a session for a class, and I kind of chickened out because I was afraid of what people would say and what they would think. So I didn't do it. And then I regretted it. And I said, man, I wish I had done that. And then when if it ever comes up again, I would do it. And so a lady from Charlotte, Latifa Foster, who was my Reiki master, she had a class. And I said, I'm getting on it no matter what.
Mhm.
And at the moment, I had this fear of driving, and I had to drive halfway, and it was just like 45 minutes away, but I had to drive, stop, then go back. But I went there and I did the class, and it's just been amazing for me. It's
Yeah.
This is for me. Um, I am here to help people to heal. Um, Not for me to heal them, but for their bodies to heal itself. That's
Mm.
what Reiki is about. Reiki is
Mhm.
life force energy, universal life force energy, and Reiki goes where it needs to go. And it's just an amazing tool to have. It's an amazing gift to have. Yeah, but
Yeah.
that's how I got started, and I just love it. Yeah, I just love helping people. I love you come in one way from a session and you leave out another way. You come out feeling better, feeling light. Sometimes they get really emotional during sessions, but it's just it's an amazing gift to have and to watch people grow and to heal from the sessions.
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
I totally agree. I love that you mentioned that You are not, we are not to heal people. It's mainly for us to kind of awaken the energy within the person that will help heal themselves.
Exactly.
So I love that you mentioned that because a lot of people kind of get that part a little confused.
Yes.
So so yeah, thank you so
Yeah.
much. And
Yeah.
I'm so
That's
happy that you stuck. Oh, I'm so sorry. Go ahead.
like no. I'm just gonna say that's a big misunderstanding that people have, is that they think that we are the practitioner is doing the healing. No, it's us awakening the energy inside of the person. Your body is created to heal itself. And then a lot of times we have things that are, we have places where we're stagnant and stuck, and this energy helps to awaken and get the flow back into the chi part of your body so you can heal. Yeah, it's
Mhm.
a beautiful, beautiful thing. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
And it's been around for thousands of years. People think that it's something new, but it's not. It's been around for thousands of years.
Yes. And just to let people know who really don't know, it's not considered a religion, right?
Right.
And it's not, it has nothing to do with like religious beliefs. So can you touch on that a little bit?
Yes, I remember I had a client come to me and she was so afraid. She said, am I going to have to change my religion? Am I going to become a Buddhist to do this? I was like, no, I'm not Buddhist either. And there's nothing against that, but I said, I'm not Buddhist. I said, it's all about you just trusting yourself to allow yourself to heal. And this is just a
Mhm.
tool to help you to heal. You heal physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. And so no religion at all. You don't have to attach any religion to this. It's not that at all.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. Thank you for clearing that up. I have and I mean, Reiki is so beautiful to me. It truly is. The very first time I experienced feeling it in my own body, I was blown away because I was in a I was in a session where I was trying to feel the energy in my hands, and it went straight to my back. And it was such a warm, hot feeling, not to where it was painful or anything like that, but it was so warm and hot. And I was like, "Ooh, I can feel it so hot, like in my back, you know?" And like you said, Reiki goes where it needs to go. I had no idea it was going to go into my back, but I do believe that it went to my lungs. I had just I think maybe about a year before had went through COVID, and I had some damage going on to my lungs, and I developed asthma and things like that. And then it all clicked, and I was like, huh, I wonder why it went in my back to like to my lung area. And I was like, okay, this makes sense now, it
Hmm.
went where it needed to go. And so I was like, wow, that's such a beautiful thing, and I know we cannot it's like I want to just give it to everybody, right? But I know that you have to be receiving of it and you have to want to have it. It's funny when
Exactly.
it's funny when I try to do it to my dog. He's out of there. He doesn't want me to do it at all. He's just like,
The,
no, I
the,
don't want.
the funny thing about animals is that they know when they want it, or they know when they need it.
Mm,
Um, because I can do it on my dog. Sometimes when I do it on her, she'll lay there and I'm thinking the session is done and she's looking at me like, no, we're not done yet. And then other times it's just I put her hands on her, like you said, she's gone. But animals
mhm,
really have they're more connected to source or to God than we are. I think.
mhm.
Because we've been programmed to believe a certain way, and animals don't have that programming, don't get to
Yeah.
get that programming. So, but yeah, they're really in touch with that, so they know when it's over. Yeah, but
Yeah, it's
and
funny.
cats are like a Reiki sponge. They absorb it like you can never give them
Wow.
enough.
Oh my goodness. Wow, that's
Yeah.
awesome. Yeah, my little guy, he's kind of like, and he knows when I'm trying to, because I've tried to see if like, okay, let me see if I can do it without him noticing. You know, he knows right away. He
Oh
knows what I'm
yes.
doing. He's like,
Oh
okay,
yes.
no.
Yes. And that's the
But
thing with Reiki. You can use
mhm,
Reiki um on people, on your animals, on your
mhm,
plants. I use it to help my plants a lot. You can use it for your finances. You can use it uh for any reason that you need it for. You know, you can use it for that. It's
mhm.
all about your intention and what you believe in and what you want to use it for. You can use it for that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Reiki is
Thank you
such a
for that.
powerful gift. It's universal life, it's universal life force energy. So it can go anywhere you need it to go. Yeah.
It's beautiful. Gosh,
Yes.
well, I'm gonna keep saying it, but I'm so grateful for you.
Oh, you're
I'm
welcome.
so
I'm grateful for
grateful.
you as well.
Aw, thank you. So let's see. Let's talk about the emotional, energetic healing. Like for someone who has never experienced Reiki, how would you describe it? How would you describe the way it supports emotional healing?
For emotional healing, so that was the main thing I needed Reiki for. So I'm just going to use my example of how it helped me emotionally. I was an emotional mess because I had so much
Mhm,
stuff. Everything was coming up at one time, like the the abuse that was coming up. My finances was in a mess. I was a single parent. I just didn't know what to do. I was just in this web where I couldn't get out, and I didn't know what to do. And I was always crying. If anything came up, I cried about it. I was because I didn't know what else to do with my emotions. And
mhm,
so with Reiki and the emotional support, it comes in and it helps to settle. It's almost like it separates it. Like I said, I was single parent, finances, the traumas that were coming up. So it comes in as like it for me. This is how it works. Like it separated things instead of making it one big ball. It separated it. Let's deal with this first. Let's ease into this first. Let's work on the finances. Let's work on the trauma, the childhood sexual trauma. Let's work on being a good parent. And then it just soothed it all out. Now, that's my experience. Everybody's experience is different, but it
mhm,
supports you emotionally. It's going to help you to be able to manage those emotions, to feel calm, peace, and at ease. um for me, it just made things a lot easy, a lot. The effort was not forced effort, it was ease. And like I said, for everybody is different, but that was my experience with it.
yeah. Gosh,
Yeah.
thank you so much for being so vulnerable and always so authentic. And you know, Carol, a big piece of my healing, because I let everyone know I am very emotional, um, and and I've come to love that part of me because when I was younger, I was told to not be so emotional and to not cry so much. And my grandmother used to call me a water lily because I would always cry, you know. And so I've come to embrace that part of me. But I want to say Reiki has helped me a lot with my emotions as well. And what I do want to ask you, or just share and see what you think about this, I usually, when I'm having a bad time, or if I'm going through something that's rough, I always remember to go back to my Reiki because even though I don't practice it every single day of my life, I still know that I have it
Hmm.
and I still know that it is there. I still feel my energy and I remind myself. It's like a big reminder, like take some time and do some healing, work on yourself, you know. And it always does help me. It always brings me right back to calmness and a state of peace. But one of the things I'd love to touch on is because we do have that shared trauma of sexual abuse. For me, mine was in my childhood. But when I meditate and I go back and I want to talk to my inner child, um, how what do you think about using Reiki with the inner child?
Definitely. You can take your inner child and do Reiki on the inner child. You can make the child as small as you need to, or however you need to, and soothe her. Let her know that it's going to be okay. And believe it or not, you've always been a Reiki practitioner or a Reiki master. It's always been with you. I think being for me, this is just what I think, that you're chosen from birth or before birth to be a Reiki master to help the world to heal, and it has to, then we start with ourselves, and um let me get back to it. So yeah, you can just heal that child. You can touch that child and do the Reiki on her. I've had to do that. I've had to tell my inner child, it's okay. You're free now. Look where we are now.
Mhm.
We're healed. I am healed, whole, and complete. We have different versions of ourselves. Like as the child needs to know that you're okay so she can go on. But if we always stay in here and there, people say don't look back into the past, don't look back. But how can we not look back and we have to learn? Those things that we went through brought us to where we are now. So yes, and you can go back and heal that child and let her know that it's okay. Put her at ease. And that'll give you a different version of yourself to be calm, peaceful, and at ease. Yes. She's
That's
actually waiting for
beautiful.
that. Yeah. Hmm.
Yes, I do agree. I do agree. It's so powerful. It's such a powerful thing to do. We allow ourselves that gift. I feel like it's a gift that we're giving to ourselves.
Hmm.
I because I truly love that. And I do it as often as I need to. As often as I need to,
Hmm.
I do it because sometimes things just arise in life. Life keeps going. Life keeps lifing, like they
Yes.
say, right?
Hmm.
um, it keeps
Right.
going, and so sometimes I have to constantly go back and do that. Um, but I want to touch on something that I heard you speak about us being born with this gift, and these are like our innate abilities. And I truly believe that Reiki is something that I've had in many lives before. I
Hmm.
truly believe that, because of the way that it happened. It just happened so naturally. I wasn't trying to do anything. I was just laying in bed and my hands started to vibrate with a warm, hot energy. My palms got so hot, and I'm laying there like, what in the heck? I'm like, am I losing it? Like, what's going on? You know? And I feel as if it was my body reminding me of, hey, this is something that you have. This is something that we have. And
Hmm.
how beautifully aligned was it? Because um I had already met you. I knew that you were a Reiki master. I knew that you did Reiki, but I didn't know that it was something that was inside of me. And I didn't even think to even go down the path of Reiki. But being that I had this awakening and I had already knew you, I was like, wow, this how beautiful did the universe align that? And it was just like, huh.
Right.
When I look at it now, it's just kind of like, wow, that was so beautifully aligned the way that happened and the way it played out, which I know now it was supposed to play out that way.
Hmm.
But
Yeah.
yeah, I love that you
It,
touched on that. Like, what are your thoughts about that? I know you kind of went back to the question, but I want to hear more of what you think of that.
I just think that it's a, well, I don't think, I know it's a beautiful thing. And I know that um, sometimes you can't find the words. I can't find the words for it. It's just so beautiful. And um, we all come here with purpose. We have purpose.
Mhm.
And like you said before, in maybe in other lives, we were Reiki masters, or we were energy healers, or um, whatever word you want to use for it. We've always
Mhm.
had that healing part about us, and we've always healed. We've healed not just on the surface, but on the deep parts of ourselves. Like you talk about the inner child, that's getting deep. We heal the soul and this get into the spirit part of it. And and that's the thing with Reiki. A lot of times we have physical ailments with us and not realizing that it could be something spiritual or emotional or mental that is wrong with
Mhm.
us. And then once we
Mhm.
heal that part of us, then the physical side will heal. But it's such a beautiful thing to know that um, we brought that gift with us. And then once we get attuned to it again, you hear that attune. It's like tuning a violin or a guitar. You've always had it, it just wasn't tuned up. So now we're tuned where we can help others and help ourselves first and then help others. It's it's just beautiful to me. It's just I don't know, I get excited, I guess you can tell.
Yes.
But I
Me
love
too.
it. I love how it plays out in my life and how it has allowed me to help so many other people. Um Reiki is just a beautiful gift to have.
Yes.
Uh yeah.
Yeah.
Kind of lost for words right now, but that's
Oh, it's
all I can
okay.
even think to say right now. Yeah.
I know that feeling, the energy. That's why I take notes because because I get so like the energy kind of just takes over and you can feel it, but sometimes we can't put the words to it. So
Right.
I know
I made
exactly. Mhm.
Yeah, I made some notes about Reiki, and I was like, why am I just writing this down? But I'm. Is it okay if I read this?
Of course, yes.
Okay. So Reiki is a two-part word. Is REIKI, and the REI means universal, spiritual wisdom, and divine guidance. It represents the higher intelligence of the universe that knows the body, mind, spirit where it needs to heal. It also means universal life wisdom, divine consciousness, spiritual awareness, the sacred energy that surrounds everything. Reiki is guided, the Aria, the Ray is guided by wisdom. The KI means life force energy. It is the vital energy that flows through all living things. So we all have ki in us. We all have that. And when ki is free to flow, when it's free to flow, we feel balanced, healthy, peaceful, energized. And when it's blocked or stagnant, then that's when we feel the stress, the fatigue, the illness, or emotionally imbalanced. So ki is life force energy. Therefore, Reiki is universal life force energy. And to me, that's just beautiful. To me, when you say universe, we say universe, we say source, we say God. So is that moving through us to heal us in places where we need to be healed? And on every single level, we have the spiritual level, the mental level, emotional and physical. And Reiki takes care of all of that.
That's beautiful. Thank you. Thank
Yeah.
you for sharing that.
And
Um,
one more thing, I think, now this is just my interpretation, but several passages in the biblical text where it talk about laying hands on people. Reiki is light touch. So a lot of people think when it's like, how we've all been to the church when like, be healed and hallelujah, shamanana, whatever they say,
mhm.
not
Yes.
against that. Not joking against that because I've been
Right,
in
right.
services where I've seen it happen, but it's the same. It's the
Mhm,
same thing. You know what I'm saying? It's just that
mhm.
this is a more calm and more easier way to help somebody to heal, some more private way to heal somebody. Everybody don't need to be out in public and have all their business displayed. This is a way where you can come and express yourself and ask for healing and ask for help. And it's right here. And we have practitioners, we have people who can dive in and can help you to help yourself to heal. Yeah.
Yeah. That's one of the biggest things that I love about Reiki is that it is something that allows you to help yourself heal. Because the body is so amazing that, I don't want to say I'm totally against medical advice or medicine or anything like that, because yes, there is times when we do need it.
Hmm.
But I think that we're so conditioned to only seek that. Is that's the first thing that people look for, you know.
Hmm.
Reiki, I'll share a piece of my healing, you know. I hit my 40s. I talk about this a lot because it was like a big impact on me. So I'll be 43 this month. And I had a lot of weight gain and things like that, things with my weight fluctuating and not knowing what was going on with my body and things like that. And it really hit me in a way where I was a little depressed because the doctor was telling me, oh, you're going into diabetes and you're going into all of these different things, and it had me really like down. And what I did was I started to remember. And I said, it's time for me to take a break. Right. And so I went on like a social media fast where I didn't get on social media for about a month. And I just wanted to focus on my health. And honestly, I heard it. I heard the download. I heard spirit speak to me and say, take a break, take some time for you. And that's exactly what I did, because when it comes through so clearly for me like that, I have to pay attention. I choose to pay
Hmm.
attention to it now. And I said, okay, I'm going to take a break. I don't know what's happening, but I'm going to take a break. And that's exactly what I did. And when I was able to quiet a lot of the outer things that were going on, the distractions, and just sit with myself, things started to flow back into me. And I tell you what, I remembered my Audible app that I had on my phone that I did not open in I don't know how long. But in that Audible app is where I downloaded it's where I downloaded my Reiki book.
Oh, okay.
And yeah, and I was like, wow, I forgot all about that. My book was in here, and I was like, okay, maybe it's time for me to go back into my book. And I laid there because I like to sometimes listen to it at nighttime when I'm going to fall
Hmm.
asleep. Because sometimes what I'll do is I'll let it keep playing while I'm sleeping, so it'll kind of
Hmm.
go into like my subconscious mind.
Right.
Um, and and I was laying there and I said, let me start it. And it started off where I left off. And I said, no, something said, no, start from the beginning. Go back. Go all the way back and start from the beginning. And I said, all right, okay. And I'm so happy that I listened and I did that, because when I restarted it, there of course was something in there that I forgot. But as soon it I don't want to get emotional because I am, but it's so beautiful how spirit and the universe leads you to what you need, right?
Exactly.
I started it from the beginning and I started listening, and it spoke about the Louise Hay book and how um, there's there's so many things connected to ailments
Hmm.
spiritually that will show up in your body, and there's so many different ways that you can heal yourself, and it allows you to realize what's going on within your body that needs to be healed. And I said, oh my gosh. So I realized I had one credit left on my Audible. So I went and bought the Louise Hay book, and I downloaded that. and um,
That's
and I
so
started
amazing.
Yes, and I started writing down all of the affirmations to the things that I was worried about in my body, for the diabetes, for asthma, for my allergies, for everything. And I was like, wow, I can't believe I didn't remember, but once again, it came back to me when I needed it. And that's when I started to do my Reiki on myself again. I started to make sure I wrote down those affirmations that came out of the Louise Hay book. I was doing so much things on myself. And then I started to feel encouraged again. I felt like, okay, now let's make some changes. Let's start eating different. Let's start doing some things differently, and I'm so happy to say that, my A1C went down. It went down
Awesome.
tremendously. And I'm a big believer that it was all of it combined. It
Yes.
was spiritually, it was the Reiki, it was the changes that I dedicated myself to. Those things helped me so much. And so, yeah, when I went back and I was like, wow. It's those things that although life gets busy and we get moving and sometimes we forget,
Hmm.
it comes back to remind us, that don't
Yes.
forget you still have this. You know,
Yes.
I know we're having this human experience, right? And we have to still do human things and live life and go through experiences and things like that. But I am so grateful for those moments where we have those reminders. So yeah.
Yes. Yes. That's beautiful. And then it's amazing how you mentioned the Louise Hay book because I was gonna wait till you finish before I brought up the Louise Hay book
That's so
because
funny.
that's the book that changed my life. Like the lady Susan Reynolds, she said she actually gave me the book. She said, read this book.
Wow.
That book changed my life
Mhm.
because it gives you, that we used to always stay in the worried emotion, always worrying
Mm.
about this and worrying about that because that's all we've ever known is to worry. Well, for me, that's all I ever known was worry
Me
and
too.
never trusting myself, and
Mhm.
reading that book showed me how to trust myself. And it's we're healing ourselves by saying the affirmations because
Yes.
every cell in our body is listening,
Mhm.
so it's such a beautiful thing. And the name of the book, by the way, is You Can Heal Your Life by Louise
Yeah.
Hay. Anything
Yeah.
by her is amazing.
Yes. Yes, it's so true. And
Yeah.
how beautiful was that they mention it in the Reiki book. Um, you know, it,
Yes.
it's so beautiful because it's so true that we can heal ourselves. And a lot of people don't realize that sometimes that a diagnose is sometimes your body communicating with you and letting you know that something deeper needs to be worked on.
Exactly.
It's not just the diagnose, but what is the root cause of it? Where did that come from? What are you storing in your body that needs to be worked on and needs to be freed and let out? So
Yes,
that was
exactly.
such a beautiful thing for me. So yeah,
Hmm. That's
I
awesome.
was so happy to go back
That
to
is
that
awesome.
book.
Yes, I pull it out all the time. And I have
Mhm.
bought so many of those books and given them away um,
Wow.
to try to help people. Yes. Yes,
Mhm. Oh,
I can't tell you the number of books that I have bought just to give them away, not to resell, but just to give away, because it's a
aw,
life changing book. If you allow it to help you, it would definitely help you. But it's you
yeah.
helping yourself, and I
Oh,
think
yes,
that's
so
key.
true.
I think that's
Mhm.
key is that sometimes we're always looking for someone to save us, to heal us, to make us better, to make us, and all you have to do is look in the mirror.
Mm.
Look in the mirror and
Mhm.
start with I love myself.
Yes.
And that sounds very simple, but you know how hard that
Mhm.
can be sometimes
Oh,
to
yes.
look at yourself and say, I love myself.
Mhm.
It was very hard for me. It took me a while to get to the point where I could look at myself and say, I genuinely love myself. I love you, Carol. That was
Mhm.
hard. That was very hard. But I'm grateful that I love myself. And when you learn to love yourself, you will start to heal faster. You the and let me tell you, healing journeys are not easy. I'm not
Mhm.
gonna sit here and say that it is, coming for a Reiki session can bring up some of the stuff that you don't want to have to face, but the stuff that you need to face.
Yes.
You need to face it so you can heal. Keeping it bundled up, keeping it hidden, hiding it, running from it, it's only going to cause more physical problems, more emotional problems, mess with your mental state. You start thinking that you're crazy and you're not crazy. You just need to heal and let it go. Love yourself. And if you can't look in the mirror and say it, just start saying it. Just say I love myself without looking at yourself. Your body will respond to that as well. We talk about Reiki. We're talking about Reiki and Reiki Master energy healing, but it's Reiki is all of that. It is all of that.
Um, I want to say, one thing that I do know about you also is that you're very big on self-love. And you teach a
Mhm.
lot about self-love. And, I know as a spiritual community and a healing community, you always hear self-love come up. And that is because that's one of the biggest things that will allow us to start healing. Is
Mhm.
is when we love ourselves. And I love that you promote that also so much, because it's so true. And it's not always easy to turn around and love yourself, because we're not taught to do that. You know,
Mm-mm.
um, we're taught to love everything outside of us but us. you know,
Right.
um,
Right. We're
so
taught we're
it's
taught that.
mhm,
Yeah. That's it's sad. It's sad
mhm,
that's how we were taught. And we can't blame parents or grandparents for that because that's what they were taught. You gotta think about how the
mhm,
system was the
mhm,
programming, the way it was done was for us not to love ourselves because there's so much power in you knowing who you are, and there's so much power in you loving yourself. Think about how powerful you are when you know who you are and you love yourself. There's so much power in that. And if the system can keep you from not knowing who you are and not loving yourself, then they can control you. But you are in control of you.
that's
Love
right.
yourself. Take care. The
That's it.
self-love, self-care is so essential. Let me tell you, and with me, I know I promote it, but I have to promote it because I have to promote it to myself. Because sometimes I look in the mirror and I don't like what I see. And I have to
Mhm.
go back, I love you, regardless
There you
of
go.
the flaws. I love you, regardless. Um, some of you may know, some of you may not know, but I have alopecia. I do not like wearing wigs,
Mhm.
but I love myself anyway, even if I have to. I'm overweight. That's another issue, but I love myself. In spite of, I love myself. And so now I'm back on the journey. I get on it, then I get off. But this time, I love myself enough to get back on the journey and not just sit in it and do nothing. So that's what we
Yes.
got to get, love yourself. Listen to that small voice. That small voice is your voice telling you, take care of yourself, love yourself, eat right, drink the water, exercise, all of that. And then again, that is Reiki. It's the key that's flowing through your body that is
Mhm.
telling you to love yourself and take care of yourself. That's how it works. That's how it works. You don't have to name it Reiki. You can name it something else.
Mhm. That's right. That's so true.
Yeah.
Carol, I appreciate you being so vulnerable, so real, as you always are. But I think these are the conversations that people need to hear, because sometimes when we have these labels of Reiki master or Reiki practitioner or spiritual guide or anything, where you're working on yourself and you're working on your healing or hypnotherapist or anything, trauma
Mm-hmm.
coaching. people look at you as if we're supposed to be perfect, right? And
Mm-hmm.
that's just not true.
It's not
You
true.
know,
It's not true.
none of us are perfect, you know,
Right.
and we have things that we battle in our own lives, and
Mm-hmm.
we have insecurities, and we have times of when we feel down and anxious and depressed or whatever it is. But I think the biggest thing that like you said is when you don't give up on yourself and you find that love for you to want to try again. I think that's what it's
Mm-hmm.
all about.
Oh,
Because
yes.
of course we're going to go through moments of our lives where we might look at it as a setback, or we might look at it as something we still have to continue to work on, or whatever it is. But that's normal. Like that's the reality of life, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm so grateful that you speaking to everyone as a Reiki master. You're sharing your vulnerable parts of yourself, and that's what I love to do. I love to have conversations where I just share my truth,
Mm-hmm.
because I can remember times looking at people and looking at things in their lives, and I'm thinking, man, how'd they get there? And how'd they become so perfect, or how'd they become so put together, right? And then you realize that nobody is perfect. you know you're seeing something that maybe that's all they want to show of themselves, or maybe they're not comfortable
Mm-hmm.
with being vulnerable, and
Vulnerable.
this is the
Yeah.
mask that we learn to wear, right? Because society
Mm-hmm.
teaches us that too. Society teaches us
True.
to put on a mask, don't tell people your business. I know I grew up in a household where it was like, whatever happens in this house stays in this house.
Stays in the
Uh,
house.
right?
Same.
So I think society teaches us that we have to show up in a way. And, you know, I think today it's more of let's be vulnerable with each other. Let's
Mm-hmm.
uplift each other and show each other that sometimes I'm struggling too, and sometimes I'm
Mm-hmm.
having a hard time too. So I'm grateful to have this conversation with you. I feel a lot of people will really resonate with this, and also feel like, you know, a sense of sameness. I deal with that too, and if they can start a healing journey, so can I. And I feel like that's what I that's the goal, is to be able to spread the knowledge and the healing and the love out to the collective.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm so grateful
Yeah.
for you to share so vulnerably. Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. I don't know any other way but to be honest and real. Because
Mhm.
how can so many of us we run to people for healing or yeah, for healing, but none of us look on the backhand. How do they get to where they are?
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? We all
Yeah,
have a story. We all have a struggle. We all have a journey. And if that person doesn't, if they don't show up real, authentic, or never been through something, you can't help me
that's right.
because
That's
you wouldn't
right.
understand how to,
That's
you
right.
know? Yeah.
Mhm.
Um, I used to be so angry about my story, about the
Mm.
not my story, the story, or the things, the struggles that I've had to go through. But now I'm grateful for them because now I have something that I can testify to or show someone, look, this may not work for you, but this is, I went through this similar situation that you did. And now I can, so this is what I did. This is how I went and sat down on the ground and I put my feet in the water and grounded myself
Mm.
and just allowed the earth to take this feeling away from me. This is how I
Mm.
laid on my deck in the storm and let that water just wash away all of these
Mm.
things. I went through this and I allowed the earth to help me with this, or I allowed source to help me this way. If we haven't gone through anything, we can't show anybody nothing. We can't teach them how to get through anything if we've never been through anything. So I used to really be upset about all the stuff that I've been through because I've been through a lot. But now I'm just grateful for it because I have so been through so much that I can help so many more other people. And
Yeah.
so I've got to that point in my journey where I'm not angry or upset about what I've been through. Not saying that it was right or
Mhm.
wrong. A lot of it was wrong, that I went through, but I went through it. And that's the thing, is going through it. And let me tell you,
Mhm.
once you go through it, you're through.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, that's
Yes.
right.
Once you're through it, you're
Mm.
through. And then you can share it with somebody else and help them on their way.
Yes,
Yeah.
I totally agree, and I feel the same way about, the things that I have experienced in my life, and, I'm not heavy-hearted about it. I feel as if, before I have to acknowledge the energy that's coming through, um, with
It
the
is.
with the electronics, right? It's
Uh-huh.
it's that high energy. I see that things keep happening. I'm like, what is going on with the computers? It's the energy, and energy
Hmm.
comes through electronics and things like that. So
Yes, it
I want
does.
to mention
Hmm.
that.
Yeah.
um,
Yeah. There may be a
so
message. Is there a message? If there's a
yeah,
message, I'm listening.
you let it come through. I'm here for it. But yes, I love moments like that anyway. So, but yeah, but what I was trying to say is I love that I can share my experience with people. And no, it did not take me overnight to be able to want to talk vulnerably and to want to tell people my story or my business of what I've been through and things like that. That took a lot of healing. That took a lot of work on myself and a lot of taking away shame and feeling like I was tainted or something was wrong with me because some of these things happened to me. And so I don't want people to think that, we just one day wake up and it's like, okay, I'm here. It takes a lot of
Hmm.
work and a lot of continuous work. We have
Right.
to continue to still do the work and things like that. But
Hmm.
yes, so I know we've been talking for a while, but I do want to touch on something before we leave,
Okay.
because this was very special to me. So whatever you feel freely to share, I would love for that. But I want to ask you, so you also work as an oracle as well. Um, how did you learn how to trust the messages that come through you? And the reason why I'm asking that is because sometimes, I mean, I don't want to label myself as an oracle because I don't feel like I get message. Sometimes I get messages for other people. It comes very every so often. And it's
Hmm.
usually if I'm having a dialogue with someone or someone is sharing to me about something they're going through. Sometimes I do get something where I know I'm supposed to say it. Um, but with my experience with you, with my mom, I'm never going to forget those things, and those things are so very special. And I know you probably don't remember the messages because I know we let go of the messages once we deliver them, because they're
Hmm.
not for us to hold on to. That it's for the person that you're delivering it to. But I will never forget those messages that you've given me. So I just wanted to speak on that a little bit. How do you feel you came to trust the things that you hear and you deliver?
Sometimes I'm not still not sure.
Mhm.
I'll be like, I'm gonna say this, and I don't know if it's gonna make any sense, but this is what I'm getting.
Yeah.
And that's how it works for me. But I think I've always had this gift. Even as a child, but as far as like, I don't know, I just begin to I don't know, because I've given messages even before Reiki. Like I could just be having a conversation with somebody and I'm like, well, what about this? Or what about that? You know what I'm saying? And then that's the way that it would come. So I don't have a pinpoint
And
of
it's
when I
like,
actually started really trusting myself with
mhm,
telling people. It's just something I've always done. And I
mm,
didn't even have a
mhm,
name for it. Like I really don't like labels like that. But
mhm, mhm,
because I am just me, I just be.
mm.
Actually someone else started calling me the Oracle. And the crazy thing is that I named my dog Oracle.
Oh, that's right, Oracle. That's right.
Oracle. Yeah, but with that, it's just amazing to me. But I do notice, like during Reiki sessions, when I'm doing sessions, that's when things come up the most for me. Um,
Mm,
it's when I'm having sessions with people, or like you said, just having dialogue with someone.
mhm,
Things will come up, and I'm always just as surprised as they are. You know,
yeah,
yeah. But it's beautiful. It's a beautiful thing. I remember. I'm gonna tell this short story. I remember I used to have meditation conversation at my house, and I would allow people to come in, and we would sit in a circle and do. I would do the guided meditation, and then we would come conversate afterwards. And I remember my dad was here. Now my daddy is a minister, evangelist, or he was. God rest his soul. Um, but I was like, I can't say this in front of my daddy. I was like, I cannot say this in front of my daddy, And it was a message for my daughter, and I gave her the message, and I was just like, okay, I'm just gonna say it, and it just is what it is. But he
mhm,
afterwards, after I gave her the message, he said that was so um what's the word, prophetic, like a prophetess or
mm,
prophet.
mhm,
So by him being religious, being a religious man, it's the same thing. You have prophets and prophetess who give words to people about things that are happening or that's gonna happen, or this message is for you, versus an oracle. It's just a different name. It's the same
mhm.
thing. And
Yeah.
so I guess that kind of helped me to trust myself with it in front of my father. It gave me a little boost where, okay, so I can just say this and people will still understand where I was coming from. um
Mhm,
I guess I would say that. So I really can't put a pinpoint on when I actually
mhm,
started trusting myself. But
mhm,
that story is kind of funny, but I think that's the one I think
mhm,
about the most when I
mm.
actually can say I said, okay, well, I'm just gonna do this. Yeah.
Yeah. Aw, that's really brave also, because for one, that's your dad and you love him,
Hmm.
and you don't want him to you don't wanna feel judged, right? Because he's
Exactly.
this
Right.
he's in that religion um, and I know exactly what you mean because when I first started sharing the things about me, because I've not always been this way,
Right.
and I want to say I'm probably the only person in my family that I know about that is this way. Um, so I always say I'm not just the black sheep, but I am here to break the generational curses. So
Yes.
so I,
Yes.
I feel good about that when I allow myself to step into that energy. Because me and my family, we're so close. It's seven of us cousins that came from the two daughters of my grandmother. But we're so close that we joke with each other all the time and we pick on each other and for fun, nothing
Hmm. Yeah.
harmful. But
Yeah.
we're just silly that way. You know, we like to laugh and have a good time. And then when I came out with all of these things, you know, meditation and, you know, in nature and connecting with nature and grounding and Reiki and I'm like connecting with source and I'm getting downloads and things like that. They're like, what in the hell is going on with her? Like, you know, is she losing her mind? Like, no. Um, but you know, they'll still mess. They're like, oh, hold on, she's getting a message. You know, like, you know that they'll still mess with me, but you know, it's all out of love. It's not anything
Yeah.
malicious.
Yeah. It's the
But
same. It's the same for me. I have
Mhm,
cousins that are like my brothers and sisters, and I have one in particular. She was just like, "Well, we can just agree to disagree." You know, I said, "Long okay, as long as there's no, I don't want it to be no hard, nothing hard between us or
mhm,
falling out because I don't believe the way you believe."
yeah,
And that's something else that I that I talk about. People talk about
mhm,
believing. I know what I know. And what do
mhm,
you know about what you believe? And that was hard for people,
mhm,
so that's the difference for me. For me, is that I know.
mhm, yeah,
I know that I am connected to source. I know that I am connected to the earth, and I know that the earth responds to me, and that I know that I am love. I know that I am love, and I
yes,
know that I am um here to help others. I'm here to help myself. And to me, that's one of the most beautiful gifts that I could think of. It's just such a beautiful thing for me to be here and to have gone what I've gone through and to get to the place where I am now, where I can say that I am healed and I am healing and that I can
mhm.
help others. And that's what it's all about for me. Yeah.
Oh, it's so beautiful. I totally agree. You know, I feel the same way, so deep in my heart, in my soul, and I think that's why I'm able to be comfortable with who I am today,
Right.
because it's not something that someone convinced me otherwise of,
Right.
you know, and so I was very nervous in the very beginning of like putting stuff on social media, and then, you know, I would post like me saging my crystals and things like that, and I had somebody come into like my DM and they were like, "That's witchcraft," and this is. I was just kind of like, "Wow, the audacity of people! Like they just don't
Yeah.
they
Yeah.
don't
The
really,
community here, I mean,
you
the community here actually called me a witch. And I was like, huh? I'm a witch? I didn't know. I didn't know. I didn't know by me helping people was going to make me a witch. Okay.
I'm
I'll
telling
just be a
you."
witch then that helps people.
I said, "Well." You know, it's just so funny too because it also shows how people will are so easy to condemn you to something, you know, and so easy to judge you without actually doing the research. You know, it's
Right.
kind of like
Hmm.
maybe
And people are,
research it first.
yeah, and people are afraid of what they don't know.
That's
But at
right.
the same time, you have the opportunity to understand it. Just ask questions.
That's right.
That's
Ask
you can ask
questions.
questions, and you don't have
Mhm.
to ask me. We have
That's right.
things like the internet, we have Chat GPT, we have
Right.
all these tools now. Instead of using your phone just for social media and strolling, get some
Mhm.
information and know
Yes.
what it's about. Understand, look up what
Yeah.
Reiki is. Look up
Mhm.
what energy healing is. Look up what
Mhm.
chi is. Look, you know what I'm saying? Look up what
Mhm.
oracle means. Um,
Yes.
it's the information is too ready for us. It's just that people are not taking the time to do it. They're
So true.
so quick to label
Mhm.
people instead of finding out the true meaning of what things are. And
Yeah.
that's key. You
Mhm.
need to know before you judge. Yeah.
Yes, my goodness. Um, so, Carol, I want to ask. This is a bit of a deep question, but I
Okay.
feel like this is something needed, and I would love to hear your perspective on this.
Okay.
But in the time that we're in today, I feel like this is something that is needed for us to maybe speak about. Um, so for someone who has lost a loved one and feels disconnected from them, what would you want them to know about the spiritual connection that still exists?
Um, I would want them to know that the spirit never dies.
Mm.
Spirit never dies. It just transforms.
Mm.
Energy, you're a living being in this shell, but your spirit lives on. So you can continue to communicate with that spirit. Yeah.
Yeah, it's so true. Thank you for that. That's
Yeah.
powerful. It's so powerful because I tell people, I talk to my mother all the time. I was just talking to her before we started this podcast. So, you know, and I talk to anytime I'm going through something, anytime I need guidance or I need some sort of advice, anything.
Hmm.
Because I know how powerful connection is with spirit. And if we pay attention to the signs and we pay attention to certain little things, we will notice it, we will see it.
Hmm.
And um, I said to my mom, I said this morning, I said, I'm doing this podcast with Carol, Mom. I'm so excited about it, and I know that you've delivered me some messages through her before, and I'm just so happy, so I'm pretty sure this energy that's messing with our
Hmm.
computers and phones and stuff, it has a lot to do with the energy and spirit and things
Hmm.
like that. But I think that people need to hear that. A lot of people are suffering and dealing with grief and don't know how to go through it, don't know what it means, think that, it's just the end of us when we transition. And of course, we have people that believe, and you're free to believe whatever it is that you want to believe. Um, for me, I'm not a religious person, but I am very, very spiritual. I know that I'm very, very connected with God. I know that I am God. I'm a piece of God. God is within me. I know that we are all connected. We are all one. And I feel as if grief is so hard by itself because we don't get a handbook on grief, right?
No.
Nobody
Mm-mm.
teaches us really how to deal with grief. We're kind of just this is what happened, somebody died, and then society teaches you that death is such a horrible thing. We've been taught that death is just the end of everything, and
Mhm.
there's no more, which I do not believe. I don't believe that within my heart. I've been given so many gifts from my mother on the other side of the veil, that it's amazing. I know she ushers a lot of miracles into my life. I know that these are things that are divinely led. So I wanted to definitely ask that, just for
Mhm.
people who are watching, and maybe people that come across this, and maybe people who are dealing with a grief really hard right now for themselves,
Mhm.
because I was blessed to be able to have people like you come into my life, um, after my mom transitioned. And, I believe that's even divinely guided, that my mom somehow knew that I was going to need this guidance and this help, And I also believe in, because I here I am going deep, but
It's
I
okay.
also believe in soul family, soul connections, and
Yes.
that, maybe before we were here, you agreed to be able to help me through this,
Yes.
once this
Mhm.
came up about in my life. So
Mhm.
yeah, I don't want to go too
Yeah.
far, but
It's okay. It's okay. But you know, um, because I suffer from grief. There are two people in particular that have passed away that, whew, just now thinking about it, I get emotional. That's my father and my son-in-law.
Mhm.
You know, I speak to my daddy a lot. I speak to my son-in-law a lot. My son-in-law speaks to me a lot. Like he comes around a lot.
Mhm.
Um, give me gifts, like you said, little signs to let me know everything's okay, or something to relate to my daughter, or things like that, because sometimes she's not there to pay attention to the signs, so he'll give it to me to give to her. um Things like that, but we somebody who is grieving, I can't say that the grief will completely ever go away. I
That's
can't
right.
promise you that, but
That's right.
you learn to um deal with it. That does sound that hard, learn to deal with it. But it's like you learn to accept
How
it.
to navigate through that.
Now, yeah. So it's and everybody grieves differently. It's so and then one thing for sure is that it's okay to feel your feelings. If you're sad, feel your sadness. If you're angry, feel your anger. If you need to scream, whatever you need to do, as long as you're not hurting yourself or someone else, you can do that. But the best thing I feel to do is just to call on that person, and then don't be afraid, because they'll help you deal with the grief too. I'm here. They'll let you know I'm here. I'm always here. I'm here for you more now spiritually than I ever was in the physical. Because physically, you can't be with somebody all the time, but spiritually, they can.
Yeah,
Yeah. So
I totally agree.
it's I don't know. Grief is a hard one.
Yeah.
And I don't pretend to make it seem like it's easy, but just know that they're always with you spiritually. Always with you spiritually. You can
Yeah.
always call on them when they're spiritually. Yeah.
Mm. Thank
Yeah.
you, Carol. Thank you so much. Thank you. Um, all right. So this is the time where I ask. So usually I have my guests ask me a question, something that they want to ask me, anything, it doesn't matter. Um, I love to do that on Collective Conversations because I get to ask all the questions, but I like to have conversations. So, is there anything that you would like to ask me or like to know from me or anything like that?
I would just like to know, um, how do you feel about Reiki and the different levels of Reiki? How do you feel about
Mm.
that?
Hmm. Wow. Thank you, first of all. Gosh. So I feel, first off, I feel that Reiki awakened in me, or maybe I said that wrong. I feel like maybe I awakened to the Reiki that was within me, um, because I know that we all have it in our body. So it's the life force of us all. Um, I believe, and I'm happy that we had this conversation because it helped me remember as well that the Reiki is first for me. Um, the healing is first for me. and that it's to help me heal myself throughout my journey, but also be able to give that to others that are receiving of it. But first, to not forget about me, to not just use it as something that I can make money off of, or I could try to make a career out of. Because it is a very, very good thing that you can have a money exchange for. But it always reminds me that I need it for me too, and that I need to work on myself and heal myself. Um, Now, the different levels of Reiki, I feel is so powerful. I feel like because you're Reiki master, I'm not there, but um, I, I know being attuned to Reiki was so impactful to me in my life. And also, it just awakened me to so many other things. Um, I feel like the different levels of Reiki is so beautiful because to know that, okay, I can experience this level, but then there's more, and then there's more. Um, to know that is so exciting to me. I'm just kind of like, ooh, I want to learn more. I want to learn more. I want to learn more. And so I had to sit with myself for a little while because at one time I thought, oh, I want to be Reiki master. I want to be able to attune people to Reiki too, and I want to be able to, teach Reiki and do these things too. But I know myself. I know that I get very, very excited about things that I don't know and that I'm very interested in, and I want to just keep learning more and more and more and more. Um, but I had to slow myself down because I had to really realize that some things are not always to be given away to someone else. Some things that we learn and adapt in our journey is for us. Um,
Yes.
you know, and so I had to sit with that for a little while and be okay with it because I almost felt like, well, you're letting yourself down because you said you wanted to be Reiki master and you didn't go to Reiki master level. And so I'm not saying that one day I may not be Reiki master, but for right now, I feel as if I'm not quite ready to go into Reiki master level yet. And I might be wrong. Maybe this conversation was to awaken some more in me. I'm not sure, but yeah, I think that the different levels of Reiki is amazing, because I think healing is amazing. I think that our souls come here to not only evolve and grow, but also to heal a lot of the things that we may have from past lives, past
Hmm.
lineages and things like that. Also, it's something very beautiful about when we heal ourselves, we can also heal our ancestors and we can
Hmm.
heal the things that they've experienced as well. So it's so not the right word. It's a word that I can't even think of, but it's so amazing to me that it even exists, because we weren't taught that we come here with innate abilities. So for me, gosh, Reiki is almost something that I have a knowing of what to do. And when I would when I lay down and I go to sleep, I know where to place my hands on my body. I know where to put my hands or um just last night I because all day long I work on computers at work and I was looking at something, I don't know if it was my cell phone or the television, and my eyes were starting to hurt, and I just politely laid there and put my hands over my eyes and let the energy flow through. And I felt much better. So I know that the
Yes.
different Reiki levels are very powerful. And
Mhm.
I definitely want to one day journey into going higher into my Reiki levels. But
Mhm.
I know that divine timing, divine
Yes.
timing is real, and when it's meant for me, I know that it will be. So
Mhm.
yeah, but thank
Awesome.
you.
Awesome. Awesome.
Yeah,
I
thank
know with
you.
me, I was trying to rush to be a Reiki master, trying to rush. Let me Reiki master, let
Mhm.
me Reiki master. And it just never would. It took after I did level two, it took 2 more years before,
Mm,
I needed to be in second level for a while before I went into Reiki
mhm.
master. Yeah. But it's divine
I think
timing.
that's good too,
Mm-hmm.
that we don't rush it. You know,
Exactly.
I don't think that we're even allowed to rush certain things.
Exactly.
You know?
Yes.
I don't think, and
Exactly.
so that's why sometimes I'll get the thought of, you should do this, you should, and then I'm one of those people where like I said, I'm very stimulated of the ideas of doing something new. Um,
Hmm.
like it like
Me
sparks the
too.
energy. Ooh, I want to learn that. Ooh, I want to do that. And then I have to remind myself, slow down, stick with
Hmm.
something that like let's finish with this first. You know.
Yeah.
Um, but so yeah, but I love Reiki so much. And it's funny because out somebody in my family, because like I said, I'm the only person in my family that is this way, and I'm okay
Hmm.
with that. I'm very, very okay with being very unique and knowing who I am. And I'll just quickly, you want me to do some Reiki on it? My brother, he's like, something's bothering me. I'm like, you want me to do Reiki on it? He's like, no. I'm like, are you sure? Because we can do Reiki, and so I'm
So with
very quick
me.
to,
Some Reiki? You want some Reiki?
right. Um,
I
so,
got a
but
message for you. You want to hear the message?
right, that's so true.
Oh,
Oh
yeah.
goodness, but it's
Yeah, but
good. I
everybody's not
love it.
open to it, and that's okay.
Mhm. That's right. Yes, that's right. So that's why I tell 'em, all
Oh.
right. I can't force you to do it, but just know if you want some Reiki, I can hook you up with that. Um, but yeah. Well,
Oh.
Carol, I just have one last thing to ask before we close.
Okay.
Um, this is our closing piece. I'm gonna breathe before I ask this. Hmm. What is one piece of guidance you feel humanity most needs right now? Mm.
Love.
Mm. Yes.
Real love.
Mm.
Hmm. Love. That's the one thing that,
Yes.
yes, love.
Yeah. That's it.
That's
I
it.
totally agree. That is it. I love that. I do. Because it's so simple. It's so simple, but it seems to be so complicated for
Yes.
for the
Hmm.
human race to reach.
Hmm.
And uh, if people could just love each other, love
Hmm.
themselves enough to love each other.
Right.
And
Hmm.
we see so much going on right now, especially right now, with all of
Right
this talk
now.
about war and all of these things, and people
Hmm.
just dying, and just it's so much happening right
It's
now.
so much happening. There are a lot of
Mhm,
things that are happening. There are so many things that are happening to distract us, to get us off our journeys
mhm.
and off our paths. So you have to stay focused and you have to know who you are and stay and trust who you are and continue to
Yeah,
love yourself. And once you love yourself, I say love yourself, it radiates out. It's contagious. And people can see you, they'll see your love before they actually see you. So love yourself and take care of yourself. And then that way, that's an easier way to spread the love. Yeah,
Mm.
but we're being distracted right now by so many things. There's things I'm not even going to mention because we don't want to give it any energy.
Yes.
Um,
Mhm.
so make sure you're staying focused. Stay focused on who you are and who you want to be. Love yourself. Take care of yourself and know who you are. And that's the best gift, excuse me, that you can give the world. That's the best gift you can give yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm. Thank you. Thank you so much, Carol. This was such a
Well,
beautiful
thank you for having
conversation.
me.
Oh,
Oh,
thank you.
yes.
I want to make sure I give you your flowers, and I chose March because my birthday is in March and my mom's birthday is in March. So March is a very
Oh,
special month for me. Um,
um,
so
today, wow, today, March
Mhm.
7th, would have been my grandparents' anniversary, their wedding
Wow.
anniversary. Um, I don't know how many years it would have been, but
Aw.
this day is a very special day for me, March 7th.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Hmm.
Oh, that's so
Yeah.
beautiful.
Yeah.
Oh, it's perfect. Aw.
Yeah.
Oh gosh, thank you so much. I really appreciate you and your time, your
Of
vulnerability,
course.
your love for the collective, and your love for healing. Thank you. Thank you so, so very much.
Oh,
And
you're
I love you.
welcome.
So,
I love you. I love you. And
oh, thank
I'm
you.
grateful for this opportunity. So, um, I'm just grateful for this opportunity. Thank you
Oh,
for
you're
having me.
welcome.
Thank you for thinking of me. It's just I feel
Mhm.
honored. I really do. Yeah.
Oh, I'm honored. Thank you.
You're
Thank you,
welcome.
everyone, for tuning in to Collective Conversations. Carol, please, before you leave, let everyone know where they can reach you for your services and everything that you have going on.
Okay. Well, at the moment, I don't have a website, but you can
Mhm.
contact me through email at lantisruffin@gmail.com, or you can call me at 864-492-4132, or you can message me. You can DM me through Messenger or all the social medias. You can DM me there.
Okay,
Yeah.
awesome. And for your social media, is it under Carol Ruffin?
Yeah, all my social medias are Carol Ruffin, yeah.
Perfect.
Except
Okay.
for Instagram.
Mhm.
I don't know which one
Okay.
that is. Just put in Carol Ruffin, you'll find me.
There you go. That's right. And
Oh,
if you find me, I'm connected with you. So you'll find Carol through my stuff too. So so it'll work.
it'll work.
Aw, thank you so much, Carol. And thank you to everyone that has watched. And tune in next time for another collective conversations. And being that this conversation is so surrounded by love, I would like to leave with may we continue to journey in love, my friends. Love you
Yeah.
all. Thank
Love
you.
you
Thank you
all.
so much.
Bye. Love you.